California. Once the land of sunshine, Hollywood dreams, Silicon Valley billions, and endless beaches, the place the world calls the Golden State. But now, what if you were told that Golden Dream is cracking literally? Isn't it shocking? Yes, sadly it's true. From Los Angeles to San Francisco, from San Diego to Sacramento, California isn't just struggling, but it's being punished by nature. Wildfires are turning entire neighborhoods in Paradise, Malibu, and Napa into ashes. Historic floods are drowning San Jose, Merced, and parts of Los Angeles County. Mudslides are wiping out homes in Montecito. And above all, silent, unpredictable, and terrifying earthquakes continue to shake cities like Ridgecrest, Oakland, and the Bay Area. This isn't a movie. This isn't some fascinating story, guys. Actually, this is the reality happening right now. In just the last 5 years, California has faced more than 65 federally declared disasters, which is an average of over 13 every single year, more than any other state in America. Entire towns have vanished. Millions have been displaced, and the damage? You won't believe, but hundreds of billions of dollars. So today we are going to pull back the curtain. We will break down what really hit California, how devastating it actually was, the shocking numbers they don't talk about, and why the very face of this state is changing just right before our eyes, which is alarming and dangerous. Stay with us till the end of this video, because once you see the full picture, you will realize that the truth is far worse than what you think. Let's begin. California has witnessed over 36,000 wildfires, experienced magnitude 7+ earthquakes, endured the worst drought in 1,200 years, and lost $100 billion in disaster-related damages. But here's the shocking truth, guys, that this is just the beginning. Yes, you heard it right. From the apocalyptic orange skies of 2020 to the devastating floods of 2023 and now recent wildfires, earthquakes, or droughts, California isn't just experiencing natural disasters anymore, but sadly, it's living through a climate catastrophe and trying hard to fight back. But the numbers, they are absolutely staggering and will shock you, folks. California houses more than 39.5 million people, which is more than all of Canada. 840 miles of coastline facing rising seas, the San Andreas cutting through the heart of the state like a geological time bomb, and mountain ranges that create perfect conditions for both devastating droughts and catastrophic floods. But here's what makes California's situation truly unique. It's not just one disaster at a time anymore. Climate scientists are calling it compound disasters, where multiple catastrophes strike simultaneously or in rapid succession. Dr. Daniel Swain, a climate scientist at UCLA, recently stated that California is experiencing what we call weather whiplash, which are extreme swings between drought and flood, heat and cold, calm and catastrophic winds. It's like the climate system is having a nervous breakdown itself naturally, which is alarming. The state sits at the intersection of three major climate zones of Mediterranean, desert, and oceanic. This convergence, which was no doubt once California's greatest asset, has now become its main burning point in our rapidly changing climate. According to Frontline and state-related or other media official resources in 2025 alone, California's emergency response dashboard recorded over 579,000 total emergency responses, nearly 8,000 wildfires, and more than 525,000 acres burned, with more than 16,000 structures destroyed and dozens of fatalities reported as preliminary counts. These are not some vague statistics, but confirmed by the state and other media platforms. California has been hit by decades of record fires, floods, landslides, and earthquakes till now, which is shocking and absolutely alarming. From the 2018 mega fires that burned nearly 2 million acres to the 2020 inferno year that scorched about 4.4 million acres, and now recent wildfires, the pattern is accelerating with the time. This is not a random series of bad luck events, but this is a state in climate shock. As per DW and NBC, LA fires could be costliest natural disaster in U.S. history ever. In early 2025, Southern California faced multiple fires, exacerbated by strong winds and dry conditions. More than 35,000 acres burned and destroyed more than 16,000 structures. Pacific Palisades Presbyterian Church was also destroyed. Wildfires heavily affect communities within the Pacific, San Gabriel and San Fernando Presbyteries. California is uniquely susceptible to the worst of what human-caused climate change is throwing at us. The state's Mediterranean climate is already governed by extremes as summers are rain-free and the majority of its precipitation falls in winter. So even small shifts in weather patterns can hurl the state into periods of biblical flooding or landscape scorching drought. These massive swings from dry to wet to dry conditions are known as weather whiplash, which are becoming more frequent as the planet warms due to fossil fuel pollution. As per the studies and results, these swings worsen the severity and chances of hazards like wildfires and flash floods. According to the Natural Hazard Disclosure and a Natural Hazard (NHD) report, it states that a combination of geology, coastal conditions, and fluctuating weather, or seasonal patterns, contribute to California's predisposition to catastrophe. This report discloses the existence of a special flood hazard area, dam inundation, very high fire risk, risk of wildland fire, earthquake fault zones, and seismic hazard. Each year, California generally gets 2 or 3 earthquakes large enough to cause moderate damage to structures of magnitude 5.5 or higher. The frequency and magnitude of these earthquakes is due to California's prime earthquake location right on the Pacific and North American tectonic plates. As the seafloor spreads from the East Pacific rise in the Gulf of California, the North American plate is pushed north and west due to mid-Atlantic ridge seafloor spreading, causing regular and varied seismic activity. Fault lines form along and extending from this plate friction, including the 800-mile-long San Andreas, which accounts for about 2/3 of this movement. Smaller faults branching from these large faults also produce smaller earthquakes. Talking about the wildfires, California has more wildfires than any other state, with 8,194 fires occurring in 2019 alone, and the number of fires is increasing every year. In 2017, California's Mendocino Complex fire was their largest fire in history, burning 410,203 acres. The Mendocino Complex fire alone caused at least $267 million in damages, including $56 million in insured property damages. According to California's Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, people actually cause 95% of California wildfires. Global warming also furthers the fire's scope and impact, so it's hard to classify them as a 100% natural disaster. However, California's weather and seasonal patterns certainly do make California much more susceptible than other states to large and high-cost fires. Fall is usually the season for California's most devastating fires. After a lengthy, dry summer, California's parched landscape becomes the perfect kindling, and when combined with seasonal winds, all it takes is the strike of a match. According to National Geographic, the pine forests of California evolved to burn frequently. However, global warming has increased California temperatures right now and caused the frequency of fires to skyrocket since the 1980s. Of the 20 largest California fires, 15 of them took place since 2000. And of course, the recent ones in 2025, we all know now what it did to the California combined with the heavy winds and earthquakes. In addition to its susceptibility to earthquakes and fires, California is also at risk for coastal flooding. While daily tides are a regular and anticipated occurrence on the coast, they can cause some unexpected flooding when they are even a marginal amount above normal. A final factor that increases California's natural disaster risk is California mudslides. A mudslide or mudflow, which is the correct scientific term, occurs when clay soil and debris, liquefied by water, flow from sloping landscapes and often damaging properties, and sometimes even leading to casualties. In California, the wind-driven wildfires often leave sloping landscapes bare of the vegetation that keeps a kind of landscape integrity on hillsides. If there is rain after a fire, the land can liquefy and entire hillsides may erode away, taking properties and debris with them. Now, we all know the common natural disasters that occur in California include earthquakes, wildfires, landslides, and floods. California sometimes even experiences tornadoes and hurricanes. According to the USGS, California is even home to active volcanoes. According to crmp.org, California experiences many natural disasters, but why? One reason is because of its location along the Pacific Ring of Fire, which increases the chance of earthquakes. 15,700 earthquake faults run through the state of California, including more than 500 faults that are categorized as active. These faults lead to a great deal of seismic activity, making California the second most seismically active state. With a timeline of the disastrous events, or the hits that mattered along with their shocking numbers as per claimed, which are 2018 equals nearly 2 million acres burned in record fires. 2020 equals about 4.4 million acres burned in the worst fire season in modern records. 2022 to 2023 winter storms equals statewide destructive flooding, with at least 22 fatalities in 2022 to 23 flood events and widespread power outages and damage to tens of thousands of properties. Early 2024 equals powerful atmospheric rivers and storms placed nearly 38 million people under flood alerts across the region during a series of winter storms. 2025 wildfire season featured in this video we talked about. More than 525,000 acres burned, about 16,500 structures destroyed, thousands displaced, and insured losses in California's major urban fires, estimated in the tens of billions for certain events. This whole picture or numbers clearly state that California is in shock. Numbers are cold until you meet the people behind them. In the January 2025 Los Angeles fires, entire neighborhoods were mapped as ash fields by satellites. Families evacuated with minutes' notice. Small businesses gone and communities left to navigate a maze of insurance fights and rebuilding permits. NASA's ash mapping work helped prioritize hazardous zones, but rebuilding takes years, and for some, it may never be the same. And insurance is shifting as some insurers tighten coverage in high-risk areas, meaning recovery gets harder and costlier for homeowners. State and federal agencies have mobilized more resources. CAL FIRE and local agencies run massive response operations. NASA and NOAA supply satellite and weather intelligence. FEMA coordinates aid where federal declarations are issued. On the adaptation side, California is investing in early warning systems, forest restoration in some areas, and stricter building codes in flood and fire zones. But the scale of the hazards is straining resources and budgets. Climate models and recent loss trends suggest the extremes we saw in recent seasons are likely to continue unless emissions and resilience approaches change dramatically. The cost is already staggering, reaching billions in insured losses, tens of thousands of destroyed structures and communities traumatized. Scientists warn this will be the new normal unless we act. The narrative of California is changing. It is no longer just a place of limitless possibility, but a frontier on the front lines of climate collapse. We have seen the data. We have seen the devastation from $4.7 billion in flood damage, the loss of 18,000 plus structures in a single fire, and the ticking clock of a potential $200+ billion earthquake. The shocks keep coming. California's struggle is a blueprint for the world. We can choose to be victims of these events, or we can choose to be prepared. We can choose denial, or we can choose to adapt. The scientists and emergency responders are clear now. Preparedness is the only shield. From earthquake retrofitting to creating defensible space around your home against fire, the power to mitigate disaster lies in our hands. And yet there's a hope now. Better forest management, smarter land use, Stronger infrastructure and global emissions reductions can reduce the worst outcomes. The question is whether we act fast enough or not. Outrow, CTA. Indeed, California is in shock right now, but it's not finished yet. If this video mattered to you, then please do share this video so more people know the scale of what's actually happening or going on. Comment below if you live in a fire, flood, or earthquake zone. Do share and tell us your side of story as well. We will surely amplify it responsibly from your perspective and your version too. Try to donate to verified relief organizations helping evacuees and wildfire survivors to prove that you are a responsible citizen and a great human. California is a place of incredible resilience, but resilience requires truth, money, planning, and care. If we learn this lesson the hard way, let's at least make sure the cost bought us a safer future. If this left you in shock, hit that like button, subscribe for more eye-opening content, and share this video to spread awareness. See you in the next video. Stay safe and always stay prepared. This is one state's real-time struggle with a changing planet. And here's the uncomfortable truth. California is not an exception, it's a preview.